Thank you for joining me for this quick overview of reflection. I want to start by saying you probably have experience with reflection because reflection is an important part of setting goals and it happens everywhere. For example, at work, your supervisor may sit down with you a couple times a year to set goals, and then later you'll discuss if those goals were met, what was a success, and what you could do differently to improve. Reflection also happens a lot around athletic seasons, when a coach and the team set their goals at the beginning of the season and then have a meeting at the end to discuss the highs and lows. I want to point out that both of those are very important in reflection. The highs, meaning what went really well, and the lows, which are the mistakes or the failures. Sometimes we learn the most from the failures, honestly. So keep track of both of them in order to have an honest, robust reflection. Sometimes reflection is informal. These are the conversations we have with our friends at the end of a long road trip, or what we talk about when that project car has finally been restored. Reflection can happen when we consider the effect of our parenting decision. Ultimately, when we do something, we often check in with ourselves and others on how those actions and the results of those actions match our goals. Keep these experiences in mind as we discuss reflective writing in this class. I have to admit, there are many different approaches to reflective writing. Today, I want to introduce a set of questions that can help you organize your ideas. But this isn't the only way to do that. These questions are aligned with the what, so what, now what model for reflection. What this model highlights is that in reflection, we think about what happened and how it went, what mattered, and what we will do in the future. In the what column on the left, this is usually where we start, and we're asking the basic questions. What were our goals, and how well did we achieve them? What went well? What didn't go well? What were the most helpful things we tried? What wasn't helpful? The so what column in the middle is where we're starting to get down into some prioritization. What were the most important things we learned? Or we're digging deeper. What did we learn about ourselves in the whole process? The now what stage is where we think about how we're going to carry these insights forward. What will we do differently in the future? What can we do to improve knowledge and skills to help us achieve our goals in the future? This little infographic is important because it points out how this cycle keeps going around and around and around if we're doing reflection as well as it can be done. So when we start with what and move on from those questions about determining what was the goal, what went well, what went poorly, and move on to so what, the importance of it, how that knowledge can inform me, what we learned about ourselves, and then now what can I do to improve that knowledge, improve my skills going forward? That it brings us back around to the what again at the top, because this circle can keep going around and around and around until we've come to the end of our journey, I suppose. At the bottom is here on this slide, I have a link to a resource you can use to look at a lot of different models for reflective thinking and writing, which you may want to check out because some of them may work better for you. They have different approaches, different angles, different questions. So I encourage you to check into it. Thank you for joining me here today, and I hope this was a helpful start to our discussion on reflective writing this semester.